Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of this channel called Patrick the Runner. My name is Patrick Sheridan and as always I'm here to talk to you all about running. Before getting into the topic of this week's video, I wanted to say again a big thank you to everyone who's been tuning in so far. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe because that massively helps out the channel, and I'm going to keep the content rolling, so hopefully you all follow and enjoy the journey as I go along. So moving into the topic of this week's video, I of course was running in the National Indoor Championships at the weekend, and the event that I decided to compete in was the 800 meters. Now before showing you how I got on in those championships, I think I should explain how the format of the competition worked. So there were 4 heats initially and 8 guys were selected to compete in the final based on how they got on in these 4 heats. So what happened was that the 4 winners of each heat automatically qualified for the final, and the remaining 4 places were selected by who were deemed to be the fastest losers, or who were the fastest losers. So basically the 4 winners of each heat automatically qualified, but thereafter to select the 4 remaining guys, they took the fastest times across each of the 4 heats together. So what I'm saying is that going into this heat here, which I'm about to show you, I knew that if I didn't win, I had to run as fast as possible so that hopefully I could be amongst the 4 fastest losers in order to qualify. So I hope that makes sense. Now let's get in and see how I get on in the heats. Right, so let's talk through this race here. So as I've said, I knew that the winner automatically qualified for the final. So obviously that's the intention because that's the easiest way to go about this. So here really I'm just getting ready for the start of the race. It's a staggered start of course because it's an 800 meters and it's 4 laps of the track. I also was hoping here that I would run a personal best, and of course that isn't exactly the priority because you do just want to make sure that you qualify, but I didn't also want to be taking any risks, and ideally I didn't really want to get in a slow race because coming into the last lap it could happen that I was fatigued anyway and someone else could just be a bit stronger to finish. So I didn't want to come away with a bad time and also not make the final. So my intention here was to go out hard, get in a decent position, which you can see I've done here. We're about to break, and you can see that what actually happens here was that I wasn't wanting to go out too quick, so I backed off a wee bit there and let the 2 guys go in ahead of me because I didn't just want to burn myself out. And I'm probably still at the stage where like I'm confident in my fitness, but I don't want to go out too hard and burn myself out. So we go through the first 200 there, I think, in about 26 seconds. So it's a good start. I'm feeling pretty good at this point, actually. I know I said last week in the video about the mile race that very quickly, straight away, I wasn't feeling good at all. But I'm actually feeling pretty strong here. Like, don't get me wrong, it is tough, but this is why I feel like the 800 meter is my event now, because I was feeling pretty good there. Of course, those guys are going well, but we go through in about 55, I think, and I'm feeling pretty strong. I feel like, although it maybe looks like there's a bit of a gap there in the video, I felt like I was pretty close to those guys in front, and I could tell that they were good runners and quality athletes, but I felt pretty strong myself at this point and thought that I was in a good position. So right here now, I'm telling myself that you're coming into the final lap, just stay strong, and even if you're not going to win, get in a good position to run a good time. So we go through there, I think it's about 1:23 or so before the final bell. So again here I'm really starting to feel the pain, and I'm just telling myself push as hard as you can and you'll get one of those qualifying spots if you're lucky. So I was really just trying to close out the race here in as best way I could. I think this is where I probably am struggling a bit, and I will get better with the endurance, but right there I am struggling to hold on to that pace, but I'm doing my best and I dip over the line. So I also had a good idea here that I had run a pretty good PB. Okay everyone, so a bit of an eventful afternoon. I was in Dublin today running in heats, and I came third in my heat. I ran a massive PB. I ran a PB by a second, so I ran 1:53.69, so I was really happy with that. But I found out shortly afterwards that I had narrowly missed out on the final. So what happened was that there were 4 heats. I was in the 3rd heat, and the 4 winners of each heat automatically qualified, and then they picked the 4 fastest losers. So they picked the people with they picked the fastest 4 times across those 4 heats, and I was actually the 5th fastest, so I missed out by a few tenths of a second. But what actually happened there now was that I was really happy with that result, even though I had missed out. So I got back home and I thought I would give myself a bit of a workout because I'd been tapering this week. So I decided to do a threshold session. And then what happened was that I was doing the threshold session and Megan drove past in the car and started to flag me down. And I told her that it was okay. I thought she maybe thought I was injured or something because I was intending to do 5x2k at threshold, and I was halfway through that session. I'd just done the third one, and I thought maybe Megan thought I was injured or something, but she was actually telling me that she had just got a message from a coach at my running club called Richard Rogers, very good coach, and he had actually seen the official start list and the official start list for the final tomorrow, and my name was in it. So at the minute it appears that I might actually be in the final and someone might have pulled out, so a bit of late night drama, but it's all good, and I'm buzzing that I might actually be in a national final, which isn't something 6 months ago or a year ago I ever would have envisaged I could have been doing this soon. So it's so exciting, and it just does tell me, and it hopefully tells everyone else, that you just need to fight for every single second or tenth of a second when you're in these races, because you just never know what's going to happen. I think I missed out by like 2 or 3 tenths of a second, but I was ahead of the guy who was the 6th fastest loser by a few tenths of a second. So I just give it everything on the day, and I'm going to do that tomorrow if I'm actually in the final. So I can't wait for that. Massive opportunity. I'm so excited. What I'm doing now, because I'm a wee bit concerned that I've done a wee bit too much there with the threshold session tonight, I think I'll just have to use it as active recovery, or tell myself that anyway. But I'm going to go into one of these now, which I actually dread. They're called ice baths. So just about 5 or 6, 5 bags of ice, and which we got in the shop. So I'm going to go in this now for about 10 minutes and absolutely no longer, and just try not to freeze. It's my feet that usually really struggle in these cold conditions, so I'm going to go in now and just try to get the recovery in tonight. The race is at 10 past 4 in the afternoon tomorrow, so just going to try to see if I can fully recover from the run, and can't wait to run the final tomorrow. But I'm really stuck on this ice bath here. But yeah, absolutely delighted to be in a national final. As I said, absolutely unreal. Would never have thought I could do that. I knew I had a chance today, and I just give it everything. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Whether that's to try to get a medal, that's what I'll try to do. And if I can't get that, I'll fight for 4th, fight for 5th, 2nd, so on. So can't wait. And wish me luck here. Freezing. Right, so as you've heard there, what happened was that I was actually the 5th fastest loser after coming 3rd in my heat on Saturday. So initially I thought that I just missed out on the final by a few tenths of a second, but what actually happened was that I think someone was either unwell or injured, which of course you never want to happen in an athlete, but it gave me an opportunity to run in the final. So I was really happy with that, and I also was happy with how I had performed to get there, because I had run a big PB of 1:53.69, which was about a second faster than I ran about a month prior to that. And again, it just meant that the progress continued. So I was going in on the final on Sunday knowing that I was in a national final, which again, I didn't think I would be able to get to that level quite so soon. So I was absolutely buzzing about that. I was really excited, and I wanted to just give it as much as I could, because as I said, it meant that I was technically in the top 8 fastest runners in Ireland on that day anyway. And it was just a massive achievement for me, probably the biggest sporting achievement of my life so far. And I just wanted to give it a really good go on Sunday. And I was excited because there was a prospect of a medal, of course. And basically, it was just a massive event for me. And I went in with the intention of giving it as much as I could and trying to see how high I could place. So let's see how I get on. I'm in the 8th lane there on the far right, and I'm sharing that lane, which is never ideal, but that was fair enough because I was the last person to qualify technically. So we get out here. What surprises me is how quickly it started, because I was preparing for a tactical race, and you'll see now that it does slow down quite a bit. So I would say we would go through the first 100 there in about 12 seconds or so, or not too much slower than that. But then immediately it almost grinds to a halt, and everyone kind of slows down after they've established their position. But here I'm slightly worried that I'm stuck in the pack a bit, and I'm running in lane two there, or at the very edge of lane one, because I want to be able to put myself in a position where I can counter any move that happens, or that I can at least react to any move. But I slow down again there because and I come round here because I was worried that I was getting boxed in, and I don't want to leave myself in a position where I'm running on the inside, yes, which is good, but you can't move because there's about 4 or 5 people ahead of you. So we were coming up to 400 to go here, and I basically just thought I would get to the front and give it a go because I was running too far wide for most of the race, and I wanted to give myself a crack at a medal at least, even if it was a long shot. So here there's about 300 to go, and at this point I am telling myself I can hold on here for a medal, or I could even win this thing, because I'm feeling it's feeling tough, but I think I can do it. But right now, a few people pass me, and that probably knocks my confidence. That, combined with fatigued legs, puts you in a position where suddenly after 5 seconds you could pass by 6 or 7 people, and that is quite demoralising. But at the same time, I was just thinking, like, right, fight as hard as you can. You've got the national final. You didn't think this was something that you could do yet, so just keep pushing and just keep striving to do the best time you can. So I pushed myself there. At this point, obviously, I know I'm not getting the PB, so I come in there and finish in 1:57. Okay, everyone, so I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I did really enjoy being in that final, and I am very proud of the fact that I have got to a national final already, because I have been training for just less than 18 months, and I didn't, as I've said before, think I could make this progress as fast as I have done. Just to give people a bit of perspective about it, this time last year I hadn't run an 800 meters in about 11 or 12 years, and my PB was actually 2:10. In August, after about 6 months training or so, or about 9 months training, I ran my first 800 and ran 1:58, which was a massive personal best. Then in January there, I knocked that down to 1:54 after a good solid winter's training. And then in February, a month later, last weekend, I ran 1:53, which got me into a national final. So the progress couldn't really have been expected to be any better. And I am just excited because I really do feel, for those reasons, that this is just the start of my journey, and this is just the start of me getting back to the top level and running competitively, at least for the minute, on a national level. And it's just something that I'm really excited about. The race itself was quite interesting. As you've seen there, it was pretty tactical. I had felt that I was running in lane two on the edge of lane one for a large duration of the race, which is why, with 400 meters to go, I decided that I would come round to the front, because I thought the longer I stay in this position, the more fatigued I'm going to get, because those guys are realistically in better shape than me, because they've all run faster times than me, and they could afford to be in the second lane more than I could. So it didn't make sense that I was running in the second lane for so much of the race. But again, I give it my best. I went to 400 meters to go. With about 300 to go, I thought that I could hang on, but very quickly, a few people passed me. I think 5 or 6, maybe 7 people passed me, and that's just what happens at top level sport. The margins are pretty fine, and I just think that that's the part of the race I need to work on. That last 300 meters where my speed endurance is probably lacking compared to the rest of the guys. I do think I have a decent base of endurance. My training has gone well over the last 12 to 18 months, and that's what's allowed me to build up my aerobic base so that I can sustain high paces. But I do think that my endurance can improve. I think that the speed is there, but again, that's something that can always get better as well, because you can always improve. But what I'm saying is that I give it a good go. With 300 meters to go, a few guys passed me, and then my legs probably just weren't in shape to be able to fight back. And in the end, I was slightly disappointed after the race, because I thought with 300 to go, I could perhaps get a medal. But I think whatever I did, even if I had waited an extra 100 or 200 to go, ultimately those guys would have pulled me in anyway, because they've run quicker times than me, and they're just in better condition at this moment in time. But when I looked at the heats and saw how much quality there was before running on Saturday, I thought it's going to be extremely tough for me to get to the final. And I actually didn't think that was on the cards at all, because of the amount of people. I think there were like 10 or so who had run under 150. So for me to mix it with the very best is something that I'm very proud of, and I will keep pushing and I will keep improving. And I hope you all are enjoying the journey and can see that there is more to come. My training now starts for the summer, and I'm going to focus on the 800 meters. That's going to be my sole focus. So I'm not putting any limitations on myself. I'm not giving myself any time limits. I'm just going to think I can push as much as possible. And with the extra speed sessions, with the base building that I'll be doing over the next 3 or 4 weeks, I'm going to put myself in a better position to improve on those times. And I think I'm going to keep getting better. So I hope you do continue to enjoy the journey, because I'm going to keep putting out the content on YouTube, also on Instagram at Patrick the Runner 97, and always you can follow my activities on Strava. But these YouTube videos are going to be done every week to 10 days, and I am going to keep training as hard as I can so that I can improve, and hopefully you can all see this progress and join the journey. So on that note, thank you very much. Please also feel free to let me know any thoughts you have in the race, what you think went well, what you think maybe could go better, anything in, just give me your opinions on how you think things are going, because I'd be interested to know. But I do think that I am 100% going in the right direction, and I'm delighted with the progress that I've made so far, and it is going to continue, or at least I'm going to do as much as I can to make sure it does. So thank you very much for your support. Please give the video a like if you've been enjoying it. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all soon. So thank you very much.